This is the Zone 1 podcast for a premium travel experience. The Zone 1 podcast brings you incredible travel opportunities and excursions through NEWCHAPTER.ca. The Zone 1 podcast features the legendary Jackie Rae Greening, Rick McSwain from Network Travel, and I'm your host, Terry Evans. The Zone 1 podcast for a premium travel experience with NetworkTravel.ca. Joining me, as always, Jackie Rae Greening, and from Network Travel, Rick McSwain.
I'm Jackie Rae. That's Rick McSwain.
Let's get that straight.
This is our inaugural little pod of podcasts to get things rolling with a November 7th, 2025 launch. Very exciting opportunity for us to provide you with, a unique travel experience, not only audio through podcasting, through the streaming platforms, but also visual through youtube.com/@Zone1Podcast. So if you're new to the podcast, which I suspect you are, since this is one of the first 3 episodes.
Never thought I'd be a virgin at my age. This is remarkable.
It's never too late.
And none of our business, quite frankly. Rick is you're the one that came up with the whole network travel idea and business model. And we heard on the previous podcast, it's all about networking and coming together. And for lack of a better term, being a part of a community that has like-minded lust to wander.
Lust to wander.
Lust to wander. Yes.
So we talked about network travel. We talked about some travel experiences, and we talked about the Nashville trip, which is another podcast that you can click on, which featured Dan Davidson from CFCW and Rick traveling down there. It's another one. If you're listening to this, you can also click on that. There's going to be a lot of video for that trip that happened. Obviously, we're not selling that trip because it's already happened. Maybe it's something that you've been thinking about in the past because, as we mentioned in the previous podcast, that Nashville really is the new Vegas, and so many people are wanting to experience the amazing nightlife and the incredible city with the architecture and all of the history that goes along with Nashville being in the South, and the things that are so close to Nashville that you can go to, everything from Lynchburg to even Memphis. It's not that far of a trip. Not to mention all of the things that are available for you to see and experience right in downtown Nashville, everything from Predators games to the Grand Ole Opry. Really neat stuff, and a very cool podcast for you to check out with Dan Davidson and Rick McSwain. We are here to talk about some of the other experiences today with Network Travel that is offered up. NetworkTravel.ca is the website. The first thing that I see on there is so many people excited about the Blue Jays in the fall of 2025 with the postseason run and their regular season for that matter. But you've done trips involving the Blue Jays before to various locations, right, Rick?
Yeah, for the last several years, we've been chartering a 737 aircraft, taking 140 people down to Seattle to see the Jays. And the Jays, during the season, they only play one weekend in Seattle. And we looked at going to Seattle because the 2026 season has just been published, their schedule. Make a long story short, we were looked at it and we said, okay, we reached out to the hotel and said, okay, block of space right away. We're going into Seattle to play the Mariners again. We'll see it. Would love Seattle. She came back from the hotel and said, okay, we got a great deal for you. It's $2,000 US per night. And so then we had to pivot and make a different choice because the World Cup is happening the same weekend that the Jays are going to be playing the Mariners next July.
Oh,
and that's why. Okay.
Everything is sold out. And so she was giving us a deal at $2,000 a night. And so then came the story about pivoting and what we're going to do. So we decided, let's do something different. Let's go further south, and we'll go down to San Diego and watch the Padres and the Jays. And so that's what we did. And we had a list of people, of course, that have come with us for the last several years. We sent out an email we packaged this up within just 3 days. People in San Diego are fantastic to work with, from the Padres to the stadium to the hotels. Everyone's fantastic. Had it packaged up within like a couple of days, sent an email, and it was sold out in 30 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. San Diego's awesome, though. What a great destination. And to see the Jays, that's sweet.
Oh, and that stadium is right on the waterfront, and it's down by the Midway aircraft carrier, which is just an incredible experience if you want to see something like that. There's all kinds of pubs and shops and things to do and eat and drink and stuff on the waterfront. Beautiful city.
I've been to San Diego once. I believe I went to SeaWorld when I was at San Diego.
Yeah, they have an awesome SeaWorld.
Splashed by a whale.
That's the Virgin experience right there.
Wow, there's a theme here.
JR, your San Diego experience, was it recent or what?
No, I'm like you. I've only been there once. It was a few years ago. And unfortunately, I can't go on this Jays trip. I would have been there in a heartbeat because I'm a huge Jays fan. But we're at the same time, Rick and I are with listeners in Croatia.
What are we doing in Croatia, JR?
We're on a private yacht.
Whoa! That's going to...
Hold it. Let me dance.
Woo! That's the chicken dance. So,
but that's next year. So I really want to talk because we're heading off November 15th. We arrive. We're doing a French Polynesian tour with, I think there's about 90 listeners on this one. And it's a small Paul Gauguin yacht. And there's only about, 300 people?
Yeah, 320 people on Paul Gauguin. They own one vessel. And
guess what I just went and bought? Because you can jump off the boat and snorkel. So I got some prescription goggles at Dive Outfitters here in the city and my own snorkel. So I can actually see now when I snorkel. I've never been able to see a damn thing because I'm so blind.
Was that you with the white cane snorkeling last year?
In the water, yeah. So can you imagine you're going through the Cook and Society Islands and you're just doing all of these islands and it's going to be an amazing couple of weeks.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah.
Today's show is brought to you by The Terry Evans Show with Pete Potipko on Edmonton's classic rock, K97. You can listen in the Edmonton area at 97.3 on your FM dial and online anywhere in Canada at k97.ca. With the snorkeling and water sports and whatnot, first of all, JR, is it just snorkeling or are you certified? Are you a scuba diver?
No, I'm not a scuba diver. No, just snorkeling. I don't know if there's a couple on our trip that are. They're going to be. No, I'm too scared. I'm chicken.
Rick, are you a certified scuba diver?
He is certified, yes.
Oh, I'm certified.
I meant scuba diver, not wine drinker.
No. No, I'm not. I'm snorkeling as well. Actually, it might be a good idea. That might be a great story. That's where we get certified. It'd be fun.
That would be an incredible place to do your open water. I did my open water at Lac Beauvert and Jasper in March. It's
Are
fed
you
by
nuts?
well, they disappeared with an audible pop, if that's what you mean. They took us out there in March for our open water at Lac Beauvert, right beside Jasper Park Lodge, and that's where I got my open water. But yes, I've scuba dived in St. Lucia, in Mexico. I've scuba dived in Cayman Islands and Barbados, a number of places. It's been a really incredible experience. If people have even the slightest interest in it, I tell them to go for it because it's an incredible experience.
Wow, what a way to see that. Yeah, no, I don't know. I have a fear of enclosed spaces. I always think that because then you're down in the water and that's it.
I think it might be different. Depends on the depth, right?
Well, there are varying experiences that you can take. You can do night diving, you can do cave diving, you can do shipwreck diving, just recreational open water diving where your maximum depth is 60 feet or so. For me, probably my wildest experience in scuba diving was diving the Great Wall in the Cayman Islands, where you go down to a recreational depth of 60 to 80 feet. And then there's some places where you can go a little further. You're not supposed to as a recreational diver, but we did. And then you go over and you can hang over the wall. And over the wall the depth goes down to some 10, 12,000 feet. And there are times in the past where they have lost scuba divers because you have to have your buoyancy control device and everything. You have to have your gauges right handy, because even the slightest change in depth can mean the compression of your BCD, so that all of a sudden you lack buoyancy and you start drifting a little down too fast, and then all of a sudden bad things can happen. But having gone diving over the wall in Cayman Islands was an incredible experience.
Our goal at Network Travel and CFCW is to bring every listener back alive.
Yeah.
So we ain't doing that.
Shut the hell up, Terry. Geez, somebody's going to want to try that.
Well, hey, I'm happy to host a diving trip if one comes up. There's all kinds of incredible places that you can go scuba diving that are virtually untouched. Some a little more touched than others. Cozumel used to be an incredible destination, but so much diving traffic and people not respecting the reef ended up really making that an unfortunate situation for the coral reef. But there's some amazing places. So I would imagine Tahiti and the South Pacific would be equally incredible, considering what the environment is down there and how little traffic there is, really, from people who are indigenous to the area, and also from, it's not a huge tourist destination. Is that safe to say?
That's true. I read someplace the tourism into Hawaii in comparison to the French Polynesian islands is, I think Hawaii, receives the same amount of people in a month as they do in a complete year. And it might be even less than that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I think at one of the presentations that you had with Paul Gauguin, they control it down in that area because they don't want that over tourism. So they are limited, if I'm not mistaken, in the Cook Society Islands.
So with this trip being just not far away from, release date of the Zone 1 podcast being November 7th, and you're basically gone a week from that date, is it sold out? Is there last minute seats available, or is it like JR's got her group and she's gone?
Elvis is hot. So it's not even Garth Brooks hot. It's Elvis hot. So there's still a few cabins left. The ship will only accommodate 320 people. It was purposely built for the French Polynesian islands because of the shallow hull, and they can get into areas where other cruise lines just can't get into. They have to tender in from out deeper in the ocean. So that's why it's a large ship, but only 320 people. So, and from the last I heard, I think there was still a few staterooms left, but it's pretty much sold out.
All right. Well, we've talked about the Blue Jays in San Diego coming up in July, and at the same time, you'll be in Croatia, the two of you. We've talked about the South Pacific, which is a trip that JR will be on for a good part of November after her big retirement ceremony. Congratulations on your retirement, JR.
Thank you.
Yes, congrats.
Now let's talk about something that you have coming up that people still have plenty of time to research, look into, discover on networktravel.ca, look into themselves and possibly book for future travel. What do you have, Rick?
Well, and what's hot right now, I was just on a conference call this morning. We have a Princess cruise going into Japan and into South Korea in 2027. It's almost sold out already. So wow. That's going to be, I think, a really, really incredible trip. I mean, I was in Japan this spring, and Japan is just an amazing, unique country. Something else that we have is down the Amazon and then over to Machu Picchu in Peru. So it's one of those destinations that people, it's on the list that they want to experience. And there's a lot of people that a lot of questions regarding, am I able to go up to Machu Picchu? We're not hiking the Inca Trail. We're going to do the switchback buses up to the top of the ruins. And then it's quite flat once you get to the top. I mean, you can go all the way to the bottom, or you can go higher if you want, but you're at your own pace. Basically, it's up to you how you want to experience it. But you can find a little terrace on the side of Machu Picchu and just sit there and just take it all in. So we've got that coming up. Of course, the Amazon jungle. We're in a lodge on the Amazon, and it's we're doing anaconda tours and all kinds of crazy stuff in the Amazon for a few nights. So that's going to be pretty incredible as well. We've got a maritime tour coming up. So we're going to do Charlottetown. We're going to go into PEI, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick. Lots of lobster, lots of fiddle music, and lots of fun. That's going to be hilarious. So that's lots of people excited about that as well. So there's several other things on our website. It's almost like, honestly, I mentioned this the other day too. It's almost like going to Costco. If you see it, you want it, you should buy it because it might not be there next week.
Reluctantly.
Hi, this is Terry Evans, hoping you'll join me for the Reluctantly podcast. ReluctantlyPodcast.com with guests like Tom Cochran, Brian Johnson from AC/DC, Brian Baumler, and Kevin Lowe, formerly with the Edmonton Oilers. Also Darby Mills, Lee Aaron, Haley Benedict, and more. ReluctantlyPodcast.com.
Reluctantly.
Let's talk about the Maritimes and the Prince Edward Island trip. I was fortunate enough to travel with Network Travel to Prince Edward Island, which was the first time I'd ever been in that region. I've never been to Newfoundland, never been to New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, but lucky enough to travel with you to Prince Edward Island. What a remarkable 140,000 some odd people on that island altogether. And I don't know why, but I don't know if it was just not common knowledge or I didn't bother to look into it. But for some reason, I imagined that there was much a higher population on Prince Edward Island than 140,000 people,
including Anne of Green Gables,
including Anne. Yes,
and Stompin' Tom, he's gone.
Yeah. The thing about Prince Edward Island, which I found remarkable, was a lot of the architecture there. Of course, being on the east coast of Canada, one of the first places that was inhabited by people who came over from Europe, and the numbers on the building signifying when they were built and that sort of thing was fascinating to me. I like that kind of stuff. I love the architecture tours, and I end up looking at things from a Brian Baumler sort of Mike Holmes kind of point of view where, that's listing a little. That could probably use some foundation work. And then all of a sudden I put my masonry hat on and I think, what do I need to do to move here and fix that? So, but Prince Edward Island was remarkable, not only from an architecture point of view, but also, we were there on a golf trip and it was second to none for golfing.
The golf
can I tell you my funniest PEI story? So 1980, I'm at the Canadian Junior Curling Championships. And I can't remember, was it our mayor? Must have been our mayor of Edmonton at the time, gave us a plaque that we had to present to the mayor of Charlottetown. So we set up a meeting with him while we're doing curling during the week. And they sent us to the mayor's house. And he answers the door in a house coat and he's sneezing. I've got a cold. Isn't that beautiful? Do you want to come in? And we're going, well, no, but thank you. I love Charlottetown.
So, okay, if you're going to tell stories, I've got one. This was broadcast on CBC, and I don't understand how they didn't catch this, but it was Andrew and Kate.
William
and Kate, yes.
William and Kate. They were visiting Charlottetown. This was before COVID, so it's several years ago. And they were down in Cavendish, and they had these beautiful tents set up, and they had chefs in whites, and they had lobster all out and everything. And of course, this chef, he's got the Maritime accent and everything's going on there. And so anyway, Prince
William
comes over and with Kate, and he goes, so they cracked a lobster open. He goes, so what's that? The green stuff. And he goes, well, I don't know what you call it over there in the UK, but here we call it shit. and the two of them just busted out laughing, and then it went they just shut it off. It was freaking funny. Oh my God. So I don't know. They got to bring that out of the archive somehow. That was just hilarious. They were just busting out laughing.
Rick, did you grow up in PEI?
I did. I left when I was 18. My mom is still there. My sister and her family, her boys have a big cattle farm down there. They got, and in PEI, a big cattle farm is like 350 head of cattle. So it's pretty big for PEI.
Jackie Rae, did you experience when you were there the story of when people move to PEI? You're not an original islander. You're from away.
Yeah, come from away. Yeah. Absolutely.
I was down visiting. Well, I would go every year, and so I was down visiting. I said to we were at my sister's house, and I said to my little nephew, I think he was about 5 then, and they had big farm and stuff, and so he's sitting in this big easy chair, and I said, Colton, I said, where's your daddy? He goes, Uncle Rick, I suspect he's out in the barn shoveling shit. so it's just
so
a fun.
When you do the maritime trip next August with Network Travel, are you taking everybody to the farm?
Oh yeah, we can if everybody wants to go, for sure.
Just stop at Home Hardware on the way and everybody gets a shovel.
And we do French fries. Absolutely. I'll get my sister to whip up some home fries.
Every time Rick and I go for lunch, it doesn't matter whatever he has, there's always a side of fries. So you can tell he's a true PEIer.
Oh, gotta love French fries.
From Prince Edward Island, is it a quick hop and a skip over to the mainland to visit some other interesting places?
Oh yeah, I just crossed the Confederation Bridge, which is a really cool experience, about a 9-mile bridge. So, and interesting enough, it was built by a contracting company out of Calgary, of all places.
Not out of Quebec.
Not out of Quebec.
That's amazing. So did they built the bridge? Did you always have to, when you were growing up, then just take the ferry over?
Yeah, we took the ferry from Borden, PEI, over to New Brunswick. And there's still a ferry that's operating on the east side of the province, Wood Islands, but still goes over to Nova Scotia. So, and my dad actually was chief engineer on the ferry that crossed from Borden over to Cape Tormentine in New Brunswick. And the year he retired was the year they finished the bridge, coincidentally. So
good timing.
Yeah,
he would have been out of a job.
Out of a job. Yep. So
one of the great things about the Zone 1 podcast is, sure, we're centered here in the Edmonton area in the Alberta region of Western Canada, but it doesn't matter where you're listening from. For instance, if you're listening in Europe, you can contact networktravel.ca and find out perhaps about an excursion from the UK or France or whatever to visit Canada's East Coast and the Maritimes. Those are certainly opportunities that you can provide through networktravel.ca, correct, Rick?
Absolutely. And again, the fun part when we go on these experiences that we do, we try to do something that's unique. And it's always about the experience. So like in PEI, like last time we were there, we went to the Culinary Institute and we had a cook-off with the group. And it was so much fun because they divided us into smaller groups in the Culinary Institute. And then we started cooking mussels, and you could put in spices and do all these things. And of course, you're heckling each other. But there's always these kind of really cool experiences. I took the group down. There's a little place outside of Cavendish called Stanley Bridge, and there's bridge jumping. The kids are doing bridge jumping, and there's this big outdoor patio on this place called I can't remember the name of it.
William and Kate.
Yeah. So it's this really cool little spot that's overlooking the ocean. You can see the sand dunes off in the distance. You sit out there, have a blueberry beer and some French fries and a lobster burger or something. That is just it's called Carr's Oyster Bar. That's what it's called. And they do oyster chucking right there, and it's just incredible. It's just so much fun.
Well, that's what this podcast is all about. It's all about the experience. It's all about hearing about it, all about seeing the pictures of it, and having an opportunity to imagine yourself there. The Zone 1 podcast, a premium travel experience. Rick McSwain from networktravel.ca. Jackie Rae, I'm Terry Evans. This has been the Zone 1 podcast for a premium travel experience. Rick McSwain from networktravel.ca. Jackie Rae Greening. I'm Terry Evans. The Zone 1 podcast is part of the Reluctantly Podcast Network.